For this presentation, I'm going to be informing you on a topic that interests me, and that topic is the sport of wrestling. The discourse community for wrestling is different from most that I have heard. It could be similar to most high school sports because their high school has their own way of saying things. This community it differs from other communities because if you have never heard a person who wrestles talk about it or have never wrestled yourself, it can get very confusing. Wrestling is different because most terms are not heard in everyday language. The moves are different for every team, although every move has a universal name that everyone knows it by. For example, there is a move called the Funk that my wrestling team would call the Granby Roll. There are also weight classes, and weight classes are basically just the weight in which you wrestle, whether that is being a lightweight, middleweight, or heavyweight. In total, being in 10 weight classes in college, which means that for a full team of wrestlers, there has to be 10 guys who are certified to wrestle at each weight class. Wrestling is a test of physical strength and skill. And to put these attributes to the test, a guy from one college has to wrestle another guy from another college, whereas we call it a wrestling match. These matches consist of 3 periods, first period being 3 minutes, and then the last two being 2 minutes, 7 minutes in total. Either wrestler in a match can win at any time if they are able to pin their opponent or develop a lead of more than 14 points, which we call a tech fall. Otherwise, the wrestler that can accumulate the most points by the end of the third period wins the match. If the match is tied after 3 periods, it will go into overtime until one of the wrestler wins. There are only two positions from which referees start or continue a match. The first is neutral position, with both wrestlers standing and facing each other in their stances. The other is the referee's position, where one wrestler starts on his hands and knees down on the mat, and the other starts on top, behind, and in control. The first period always begins in the neutral position. Each wrestler has their choice in one of the remaining periods to choose to start from top or bottom, referee's position is what we call it, or in the neutral position, which is where we're standing facing each other. If the action must be stopped before the end of a period, the referee restarts the wrestlers in the starting position that best reflects the position the wrestlers were in when the action was stopped. Wrestlers earn points through takedowns, escapes, reversals, back points, and penalty points. Takedowns are worth 2 points, escapes are worth 1 point, and this is when the bottom wrestler is able to break free from the top wrestler and revert back to a neutral position. Reversals are worth 2 points. This is when a wrestler on the bottom is able to reverse the control so that the opponent is on the bottom. Back points are worth 2 or 3 points depending on the length of time that the opponent's back is exposed. In a pin, both shoulders are forced to the mat for a period of 2 seconds. All of that aside, wrestling isn't really just about results. It's about the attitude and the effort that you put into it. Building character, and that that is why I chose to choose this topic because I grew up with it. My dad wanted me to wrestle since I was 4, and my father eventually became my high school coach for 4 years in high school. It's very special to me, and I find joy in meeting new people and experiencing new things with the sport.